Good morning gamers, and welcome to the second annual bank video. And a lot of things have changed since the last year. I'm now maxed obviously, and I'll go over that real quick. So I finished off my mining at Granite, I did my melees through Slayer, I did range and mage mostly through PVM, I did most of my prayer through Slayer, but I did some wildy green dragons, and I also did some wires and some nightmare zone to finish off my melees. Farming and herb lore, I just did herb runs basically, and I also hunted for the tangle route a bit, but I think most of that was after 99. As for Slayer, I did 80 to 93 mostly just through normal tasks, and I did 93 to 99 through bossing. Runecraft was CMI mostly, after my Guardians of the Rift grind, and construction was just 1.5 techniques and 10 banking the planks and 10 using that at mahogany homes. Now, as for my post 99 XP, I have 51 mil fire making. Most of that was through Wintertide when I was grinding for the Phoenix, which I didn't end up getting, but some of that was through wood cutting because I've been doing 1.5 tick redwoods with log basket banking. It's an amazing method, and I'm at 36 mil wood cutting from that basically, and that also gives me a minor amount of fire making XP, but most of the XP is banked. So cooking has mostly just been cooking drops and stuff. Fishing has just mostly been somewhat casually doing some fishing activities, nothing really coordinated. Same goes for smithing. Mining I did for basically the Totus bingo, and outside of that I haven't really touched mining that much. Thieving was grinding for my second Pharaoh Scepter. I guess herb lore has just been herb runs. Agility and runecraft aren't really that high, so not really worth mentioning. I've just been training them here and there. It hasn't been anything significant. Fletching and construction have both gotten a lot of XP from Wintertide, but I've been passively fletching headless arrows basically all the time I can, so that's where 20 mil fletching comes from. And yeah, as for Hunter, it's basically entirely herbivore because I'm grinding for the pet. Still haven't got that one, but I'm gonna keep trying. So let's look over my stats. Obviously 22, 77 total level, maxed. I have 490 mil XP, which, is pretty reasonable. All the quests and the achievement diaries done. I'm currently at the hard tier of the combat achievements finished. I haven't gotten the elites yet, and there's still a bunch of tasks I have to do, but I'm gonna go get the elite diaries fairly soon once I do some more cooks and get the prayers from that. Should be a fairly short grind all in all, but yeah, it's not something I really wanna do without the Chambers of Sirik prayers because of how many great tasks there are at Corrupted Gauntlet that really require those prayers. So for the collection log, I guess it exists. I have 552 slots, but I don't particularly care about the collection log, so it's not really a priority. It's just something that keeps going up passively. And yeah, that's basically it insofar as the count goes. So let's go into the bank. So the first tab of my bank are basically just all of the teleports. I have my tire items, I have my graceful, my ring of endurance, my max cape, just some fashion scape, rune pouch, and coins. And then below that there's a bunch of utility stuff like my looting bag, my cannon, my cannonballs, my grenade dust, which I haven't still used because I haven't gotten to a point where I would really ever want to use dusted cannonballs, so I'm kind of saving these for now. So yeah, the music cape, the achievement diary cape, these are basically just for clues. I don't really use them regularly. So here's my rune stacks right now. There isn't really anything super noteworthy here, I don't think. I still have a bunch of blood runes and soul runes from my 99 runecraft grind, and a couple of other runes that are kinda high, but again, nothing in here is super intense. It's mostly just getting them passively through drops, and for the fire runes, that's from the Scar Essence. And yeah, it's just been drops in 99 runecraft. I haven't really grinded my rune stacks up. I don't really have that many low runes or nature runes because I've sold most of them, but they're here. So here's my 5,300 print pages from 50 mil fire making XP. So those are gonna be maybe useful at some point in the future. but I can't really imagine when, unless they buff the harmonized nightmare staff somehow that still uses the Tome of Fire. Who knows. So yeah, I have my expeditious bracelets and bracelet of slaughter, other mobility stuff, one clue of every tier because I haven't been doing clues recently, so they're just sitting around in the bank. EQ keys, Oculus Orb, some Zolandra teleports, and my Spirit Angler. So I have a placeholder for normal Angler, because you can freely transmog your Angler outfit between the Spirit Angler and the regular Angler. So whenever I go to Temperous, I basically transmog it to Spirit Angler for the rope benefit, and whenever I'm not doing Temperous actively, I just keep it as a regular Angler outfit because I think it looks better. So yeah, that's my normal main tab, I guess. It's just stuff that I need to pick up really fast sometimes, so I keep it in here. So here's my skilling tab, and on the top of the tab are basically all the skilling outfits in the game. And yeah, it's nice to have these. I don't really go into this tab too often. I have my bank tags for basically everything I do, but it's nice to see like all of the skilling outfits in a row. And below those are all of the various skilling tools, I guess. So I have a dragon pickaxe now. I guess that's a thing that happened. I also got an elven signet and a crystal axe. Aerial fishing rods, but I had those last year, I think. Dragon harpoon I got from Temperous. A bunch of quality of life things like the Miso and Team Candyhammer, but again, they don't really see that much use in regular gameplay. I have 12,000 spirit flakes from Temperous. I'm eventually going to turn them into something, but I haven't really decided what I'm gonna use them on yet. Maybe anglerfish, but I have a huge anglerfish sack, so it doesn't really matter if I get some more. Here's my normal tools, nothing really noteworthy. But yeah, the forestry kit and the log basket, I keep them separate because I don't see a reason to combine them. And yeah, those came out of forestry, so I went and got them because, you know, it's a method I can do. Other than that, I think most of this is fairly boring. And yeah, there's my 434,000 pure essence. I've been just collecting it from PVM drops. I'm gonna eventually use it for lavas. I have 29,000 tailed essence from just mining tailed here and there. Again, nothing really like super impressive, but it's a stack I have. So just random underwater things for seaweed runs. Raw fish, I try to keep my fish cooked most of the time, but when I have like super disparate stacks of like low food, I don't really bother cooking them. I generally do the 1 tick 4 fish method, which is super degenerate, and I love doing it a lot. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I guess some fletching supplies. I have some unfinished dragon bolts, and my headless arrow stack. I have 2.5 mil, I guess, pretty much right now, which is 25 mil fletching XP, and I still have 3.1 mil arrow shafts just from fletching U logs from PVM, and that's another, I guess, 32-ish mil XP. So combined between these two, I have around 57 mil fletching XP banked. Obviously don't have the feathers yet or the broad arrowheads, but I have the raw materials, so I just need to buy more feathers and buy more broad arrowheads. So yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I have some dragon arrow tips, 1753. These are not going to get used until I do speedruns or really high efficiency Toa at some point, which I don't know when that will be. So here's my stack of mahogany logs entirely through Kingdom. That's 60,000 of these, and a lot of these are going to be used up in Sepulchre eventually, because you can get the best possible construction XP from building the bridges, so I'm trying to use as many of these as possible at Sepulchre. And then after that grind is done, who knows where I'll use these, probably just at mahogany homes, or maybe mahogany tables, depending on, at which point I do construction. So here's my redwood log stack. All of these are going to be used for fire making, probably 0 time, at artifacts, and yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool to just go through like this huge ass stack of redwood logs. I have some random dark fishing bait here, no clue how that ended up here. Some doji necklaces for thieving. I really need to make more of these, but I haven't really had an opportunity to like really feed fires or elves. I don't really have any grimy herbs because I keep my herbs clean most of the time, and I just have these irids from my last herb run. So as for the herb stacks, again, nothing super special. I keep on top of these most of the time, so I generally don't have like large quantities of herbs available, and most of them are in either unfinished potions or finished potions. So these are random trees I use for contracts. And here are all of my herb lore secondaries. I have, I guess, 12,000 bird nests, and that's just from the mole grind, and I have a bunch of ring nests I haven't even opened. So, yeah, that's what doing 7,000 mole will get you, I guess. I have some herb lore secondaries here. Again, nothing remarkable. I generally try to keep on top of these. I don't really like having a bunch of unfinished potions around, so whenever I have the opportunity I send some herb lore. The only large stack of unfinished potions I have is the lantern stack, because getting potato cactus takes time. So yeah, that is how it is. And again, I have some misplaced items in the bank. I really have given up on organizing my bank since the bank tags became a part of my playstyle, and I pretty much never go into my regular bank these days, which is a bit sad, but the game evolves, so I evolve with it. So here's my crafting supplies. I have a bunch of uncut gems, which I'll do 0 time at Sepulchre probably, a bunch of molten glass and giant seaweed, which I'm still gonna be building up these stacks, and some dragon hide of various kinds. So again, I don't really know what I'm gonna do with these. I'm definitely gonna use them up, but I don't really have a specific plan. And after I have the Warcraft pet, I might seriously go through my options and figure out what I'm gonna do with these. But it's still gonna be a while before I manage to do that much Warcraft, so I'm not particularly pressed about just having Dragonhide in my bank. So some Celestial Spark. I don't really need battle staves because I don't have any orbs. I have a bunch of battle staves, so I just collect it because why not? At some point I might have orbs to spare. Other crafting supplies like jute fiber, and I have almost 8,000 thrift nets, which is I think around 8 mil fishing XP or something, 8 mil hunter XP. I don't know the exact ratios, but is how it is. I have a massive surplus of box traps because when I was doing my RC grind, I banked all of the box traps I got from causing hunter kit, and that should last me a lifetime. I don't know why I have this entire stack, but there's no use dropping it, so I'm gonna keep it. Here is all of my various ores. I have 1,000 runite doors. A lot of this is from rune dragons, but a lot of it is from mining. I have 1,600 dynamite, and that's from chambers and winter toad. I have a massive silver stack, 30,000, 25,000 gold ore, and 7,000 adamant and mithril alongside 60,000 coal. So this is also a stack that I'm gonna try to get through relatively soon. I'm planning to Giant's Foundry after my agility grind and see how far I can get, but that's still a ways away, so I'm not particularly concerned about this deck for the time being. So next off, I have my planks of various kinds, I have nails, and my fletching logs. So U-logs are just used for arrow shafts. Magic logs I have not really decided what to do with yet. I might make these into bows at some point if I'm really pressed for GP, but most likely I'm gonna fire make them maybe at some point in the future, so who knows. And I just have willows and maples from forestry, so again, a pretty irrelevant stack. And here's all of my completely random seeds. I just gave them here because I haven't put them into Seed Vault yet. So these are mainly seeds I've picked up from PVM and so on, and bird nests, and I don't really see the need to keep them in my Seed Vault because I still have 40 bank slots. I have 1,040, and since I'm getting these seeds fairly regularly from different sources, I don't really see the need to just upkeep my Seed Vault all the time until I'm running out of bank space, which isn't a concern right now. I have 6,000 vampire dust, and this should be enough to get me to 100 mil agility while letting me loot the floor 4 obstacle. So yeah, that's a pretty neat stack. I got that from getting my melees up, and I just have a couple bones that were left over or obtained after my 99 prayer grind. So here's my gear tab. So this is the thing that all of you guys probably wanted to see, and my gear has improved a lot since last year. I have full crystal and the bofa. I have every single pair of best in slot boots in the game. So not just the syrup boots, I have the devout boots, I have the boots of brimstone, and I have the guardian boots. Now a lot of people don't really see the need to have the boots of brimstone or guardian boots, but these are actually really good in really limited use cases. There are situations where prims don't give you a max hit over the guardian boots, and that means you're basically just losing out on prayer bonus and defenses just for a slight bit of attack bonus. So in cases where you're attacking low defense enemies, where you're not really getting max hits from the prims, the guardian boots are best in slot. So they're very conditionally useful, but they are useful, and they're also good for stuff like DKs. And as for the brimstone boots, I don't really know where I'll use them. I might try them out at Mospa and Solra in the future, but again, I haven't really decided on these. So yeah, here's my mage set. It's just RMs. It's pretty lagging behind, but that's how mage is on an ironman. And as for my melee, I have the face guard, the fighter torso, and the bandus tassets. I'm gonna go back to bandus soon for the god sword. So if I'm gonna get the bandus chestplate, I'm gonna get it 10. And if I don't get the bandus chestplate at that point, I might go a few more years without having that item, because it really hasn't been necessary so far, and yeah, I don't really know when it will become necessary. So here I have a bunch of side grades, I guess. I have my Elite Void, my Proselyte, and my Carils for situations where I'm not using Bofa and I don't want to waste charges on my crystal armor. And yeah, I have my Blowpipe, I have my Rune Crossbow, I have my Odium Ward, Ancient Scepter, Trident of the Swamp, and a bunch of rings here. So the Berserker ring is the one I use most of the time, although I do use the Ring of Suffering a lot, just for the defense bonuses and the prayer, which are super useful. Again, as for the Brimstone ring, this could be useful at Mospa, but I haven't really run the calcs yet, so I don't know if I'll use that. But yeah, I have the Assembler Cape, Fire Cape, because I haven't gotten the Cox Sprayer, so I haven't really started my Inferno grind, so that's gonna probably come up next year most likely, unless they release new updates that are substantial upgrades to the Inferno before I go for my grind. But yeah, I just need the Cox Sprayers at this point, and then I'm comfortable sending Inferno. I have the Imbued Samurai Cape, and I have my RDMX Cape here too as a side grade for stuff like killing dragons or whatnot. So I have my best in slot jewelry down here, so the Anguish, the Torture, and the Occult. I have my gloves, which are Torms, Pharaohs, and the Barrows gloves. Again, not ideal to have the Barrows gloves, but I'm not doing next anytime soon, so that'll have to do for now. And here I have my Fury and my Blood Fury. The Fury is again really useful, but it's not in an obvious way. So it's a really conditional item, and the only place in the game where I actively use it is the case, I think. But it's still a nice item to have just in case you need it, because in certain situations it is really good. And here's the Blood Fury, which I'm probably gonna burn through it for Dorvis, but I haven't really decided yet. Yeah, so my Dragon Hunter Lance, my Dragon Warhammer, Dragon Defender obviously, I don't have the Vernic yet, and I don't really have any plans to grind top anytime soon either, because it's not really a part of my near-term goals. My Samarakan has stuff for TOA, Arclight for Demons, Abyssal Bludgeon for Crush, I guess. Also, as for the Arclight, I don't think I'll ever actually use it at bosses again, so this is for Tower Necks basically exclusively. So whenever I have a Necro Slayer task, I'm just gonna burn through Arclight charges at the Slayer Tower and pick up a bunch of herb seeds. And here are all of the situational items, so my Radiant Bracelet, Slayer Helm, Dragon, Anti-Dragon Shield, Vaxstone Fragment, Ring of the Shadows. I don't know if this should be in my teleports, because I haven't felt the need to use it, but it's here for TT2 grinding my Curious Partisan for TOA, Blizzardwood Flail for vampires. I really don't need this item anymore since I don't plan to kill any more vampires on my account, but no reason to get rid of it. Crystal Halberd and TDS for DPS specs, my Crystal Shield, and just a bunch of rag gear, I guess, here. Other than the Salva Amulet TI and the Mythscape, which are very conditionally useful. Again, just these are things that are useful for like one boss, and I'm never gonna use them again. So here's my loot tab, and I think there's a bunch of cool items here, so I'm gonna go through like what I think is relevant. So my Surf Busy, I'm keeping this for whenever I get a second transmog for my Magma Helm. So whenever I get the Tanzanite Mutagen, I'm gonna turn this into a normal Serpentine Helm, whatever thing. Eclectic Implings, because I got all of the uniques I wanted from Medium Clues, so these are just here for Masters. Abyssal Pearls, there's no real use for them right now, so I'm just gonna keep holding on to these. Unidentified Minerals, Numelite, Calcite, Pyrophosphite, Ancient Essence, and these are basically just items I don't really have a very obvious use for in the near term, but in the future these are gonna get used up eventually, probably. So I have a bunch of ancient shards for Necryls, a singular brimstone key, and 16 dark totems. So here's all of the mole parts that I haven't converted into seed nests yet. These are gonna be used up eventually, but for the time being they're here. Crystal shards, Zaldra scales, Tokkul, a bunch of strange old lockpicks. These are probably gonna get dropped over to the main or put into the devs coffer at some point, since I really don't see myself doing more barrows in the future, but I might wanna get the Rare Expressor at some point, so who knows. Amulets of the Damned from my Shades of Morton grind, 6 Uncut Onyxes, a bunch of like random ammunition that I'm not really planning on using, my Barrows Scepter charging items, and here's a bunch of Barrows drops. So I keep them here because, where else will I keep them? So 4 Crystal Armor Seeds, I'm gonna keep them around until I run out of Crystal Shards, at which point I'm gonna turn them into more. I know it would be smart to keep them around just in case I wipe or something, but I don't really see that happening these days with PK Skull Prevention, because I'm pretty careful about being on high risk worlds, and I don't really risk stuff in the wilderness, so, these are just here for the time being, but again, in the future these are just gonna be crystal shards. My crystal bow for, I guess, black chins, maybe. Semi-god sword for the clue step mainly. So dark bow, this is actually useful for grinding the Soul Wars pet, but it's again just an item I got for being mostly. Heavy ballista, completely useless. I might bring it into the wilderness for fun at some point. Probably not, but worth keeping around. Abyssal dagger, again, I don't think this is better than the Semi-Hesta anywhere really, but it might be. Here's a bunch of blood shards, which again are probably gonna go to Vardorvis. Primordial crystals, eternal crystals, miniature shards, some uncharged strings, black masks, my gilded plate legs that I got last year. These are the only clue items that I actually keep in like my loot tab because these are kinda cool. I use them for like Fashionscape whenever I can. 2 bottomless compost buckets, 3 finished Godsword plates, and another Godsword plate in shards. So I got super spooned in these, and for some reason that was the God Wars dungeon drop that the game really wanted to give me. Same with the primordial crystals from Serb. I didn't get the pigs until like 1000-ish kill count, and I got like 5 entire primordial crystals, so that was pretty insane. And some other random components and heads and dark claws and drake claws, and just a circle and prime saber. I keep this here because even though these are a clue step item, they kinda come from PVM-ish, so I keep them in a loot tab. So here's all of my alkables. Again, I don't really have huge stacks because I generally generally try to like upkeep them. I have 169 milk coins, I guess, right now. And yeah, that's mostly from just keeping on top of my elks. So I'm never in a situation where I just have like a million elks I need to go through all at once. So yeah, here's basically of the elk stacks. None of these like stand out. And jewelry here, ring nests here, dragon javelin heads. Just completely normal stuff. And I guess this is the cool tab. This is my potion stack. 1,400 prayer potions, 3,000, almost 4,000 super combats, almost 8,000 setup brews, 5,000 raging pots, 10,000 super attacks, 4,000 super energies, 400-ish staminas, but I have a bunch of 1 doses, so these are per skilling mainly, so I keep them in 1 dose vials. Extended antifires, 300 of these, a bunch of 2 dose magic potions because I'm gonna use them up for barb lore, so I keep my magic potions in 2 doses because they're not really useful for like PVM or anything. Antidotes, super strengths, 6,000 super defenses, 3,000 super restores, so I have more super restores and P-pots, and yeah, I generally use these for PVM these days. Like whenever I don't really know whether or not I need more prayer, I use the super restores. 1,200 anti-venom pluses, some divine ranging potions, anti-fire potions, Sanfew serums, blighted potions, super anti-poisons, nothing really interesting. And yeah, so here's my food stack. I have 5,000 anglerfish, 557 manta rays, 5,000 sea turtles, and 8,000 sharks, 18,000 crampons, and then some other non-super relevant food. And yeah, I have some arrows, darts, bolts, whatever I might end up using. Purple sweets, 750 of these, not that many, but you know, you just get them passively from clues. And some phoenix necklaces. I'm actually gonna learn rope skipping soon, so these are finally gonna have a use, but who knows how long that will take. And this is my trash tab, so nothing in here is relevant at all. The infernal axe isn't useful for me for food cutting, so you know, it just stays here because it's relevant for a clue step. And here's some clue items I'm not gonna put into my POH, just complete random garbage. I guess the abyssal head is kinda cool, but I'm not gonna use it ever for anything, so it stays in here. Some god eggs, the Zargatom for clues, my spare cow tuber, 14 catalytic talismans, 9 elemental talismans. Yeah, I guess nothing super interesting here. Yeah, I guess that's basically it. 2 KPD heads, 2 big swordfish, 2 big harpoonfish, and 2 big bass. That's, I guess, a lot of my, interesting items in my bank. But I do have a POH this year. I know last year I basically didn't have a POH because I really wasn't working on it at that point in time because I didn't need it, but I've started needing it, so here it is. I think this is a pretty optimized iron POH. I have the Altar of the Cult, the Max Pet House, but I'm gonna save that for last. My Solar Display, because I got the Jar of Swamp, maxed out Portal Nexus, and yeah, just a max house in general, I guess, other than like some wardrobe stuff, but I really don't care about those. And I don't have the mounted Zerix Talisman yet, so I'll do that at some point. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, so let's look at my various clue items and capes and stuff. So, Master clues, I only have 2 uniques. I have the Eye Patch and the Osidious Hood, so nothing super interesting. Elite clues, Deer Stalker, Anti-Dragon Mask, and Seal Dragon Mask. I only really do elites for like bingos and stuff, so you know, that's not really gonna increase in the future. Heart clues, I just have some random stuff that I cleaned up from my bank at some point because they're not useful for like God Wars or anything like that, so yeah. A bunch of stuff here that isn't super relevant because my gilded plate legs are in my bank. Medium clues, I have a lot of these uniques. Again, nothing super interesting here because none of this is relevant, so I don't keep it in the POH, or in the bank rather. And beginner clues, 0 uniques, I don't do beginners. easy clues, again, a bunch of stuff. None of it particularly interesting or relevant. I guess I have the Bob shirt for elite clues if I need to do them for a bingo, but again, nothing that I'm really interested in. Okay, so as for my armor case, I think I have some stuff here. Yeah, the Ardenite armor, the entire ham set, the entire set of Mourner gear, and Shazen armor, so, that I have that available if I ever need it. Magic wardrobe, I think I have some stuff here. Yeah, I have my ghostly robes, because that's relevant for a clue, and my lunar outfit, because I think that's useful for something maybe in the future, who fucking knows. And here's my cape rack, so there's actually a bunch of really cool stuff here. So obviously I have my achievement diary capes that don't take up any of the cape count. My gauntlet cape, because I don't want to get dupes of that from the gauntlet. And down here I have both the Team Cape 0 and the Team Cape X. So yeah, that's a really cool set of uniques from music clues. These are actually like really great fashion scapes, so I pull them out here every now and then, but not too often. And then finally my pet house. So I guess this is the interesting part of my progress, because I have been pet hunting, but I haven't really been getting any pets. I got the beaver basically instantly in my beaver grind, so that was a bit disappointing, and I've gotten like 16 mil woodcutting XP since. And my tangle root, I have 2 of these. Squirrel, again I have 2 of these. Rocky, I have 2 of these. And my recolor Terran, and my rock golem. Chumpy Chick, obviously. Scotizo pet, which again I don't think looks good. Like this is the one pet I might like actually just drop or die with or something. But it's always nice to have more friends, even though I think he looks like a little freak and isn't worthy of being in my house. But he's a friend. He gets the pass. And yeah, finally my Smokano pet, which again I have 2 of. My dupe pet luck is actually insane, even though my general pet luck is pretty bad. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything I have on my account. A lot of XP, not that many PVM items, but I can do pretty much every single piece of content I want to, and that's good enough for right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have another one of these next year, so hopefully I'll have a bunch of post 99 XP and agility. That's gonna be my main goal for next year, and I should also have a couple really cool PVM drops, and hopefully more than 5 new pets, but again I don't know if I'll get any. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at on the account, and that's it for this year. I'll be back next October.